You know that feeling, right, when you finish a really long talk with a friend and you just feel lighter, like a huge weight is gone? Well, it turns out that's not just in your head. There's some really cool science behind the healing power of a simple conversation, and that's exactly what we're going to dive into. So let's explore this idea a little more. What if the key to a lighter mind, to feeling better, isn't some complicated therapy or a secret technique, but something as simple as a conversation, something we do every day? Yeah, we're going to unpack the amazing secret that's hiding in just a good old-fashioned chat. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about the problem we're trying to solve here. It's this invisible weight that so many of us carry around. Mentally, emotionally, stress literally has a heft to it. I mean, think about it. We all do this, right? We bottle things up, day in and day out. And the source material for this explainer is really clear on this. Those unexpressed feelings, the little anxieties, the stress from work, those frustrations you never talk about, they don't just poof, disappear. Nope. They build up, they accumulate, and they create this very real, very heavy burden on our minds. So if we're all carrying this weight, what do we do about it? What's the remedy? Well, the answer is actually pretty beautiful and incredibly simple. We talk it out. And I want you to really notice the wording here. It frames conversation not just as something that's nice to do, but as an actual remedy. And the key words are deep and open-minded. We're not talking about just any small talk. This is about a real, genuine, heartfelt exchange, something that can act like a natural medicine for your mind. Okay, but how? How can just talking make us feel physically lighter? This is where the science comes in, and it's pretty fascinating. It's like we're about to take a look under the hood of our own brains. All right, so it all comes down to a psychological process called emotional catharsis. It sounds kind of fancy, but think of it like this. It's an emotional pressure release valve. When you finally say those things you've been holding in, you're not just speaking words. You are actively, physically releasing all that stored up emotional energy. That release is what gives you that incredible feeling of relief. So let's break down the process. It happens in a few steps. First, you express those feelings you've been suppressing. That act of expression is the trigger for the catharsis. That's the moment the pressure is released. And then, as soon as that happens, your brain gets a signal to do something pretty amazing. It floods your system with all these positive chemicals. And this is basically your brain's reward system kicking in. When you open up like that, it releases this awesome chemical cocktail. You get endorphins, those are your brain's natural mood boosters, and you get oxytocin. You might have heard of it. It's often called the bonding hormone. This 1-2 punch is the reason you feel not just lighter, but also more connected and just better after a really good talk. Now, we have to talk about something that's absolutely critical to this whole process. The other person, the listener, because their role is everything. Seriously, not just any conversation is going to do the trick here. The person listening can make all of the difference, right? If you're in a judgmental space, you're scared of being criticized, so you put on a mask and you just feel totally disconnected. But when you're with someone who creates an accepting space, a feeling of safety, suddenly you have the freedom to be totally authentic. That safety, that's the secret ingredient. That's what allows for catharsis and that amazing sense of connection. Okay, so feeling better right away is amazing, for sure. But the source material makes a really big point here. The benefits go way beyond that. This isn't just a quick one-time fix. We're talking about a practice for long-term well-being. When you make these kinds of open, honest conversations a regular thing in your life, you're not just putting out fires. You're actually building resilience. You're helping yourself maintain mental balance, and you're actively strengthening your mental health for the long haul. It's kind of like exercise, but for your emotional core. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question to think about. Who in your life helps you feel lighter? Who are those open-minded people for you? The ones who give you that safe space to just let it all out. Recognizing who they are is huge. And hey, maybe thinking about how you can be that person for someone else. That might be one of the most powerful things we can do.